You are already the CEO Corporate Services because you did your handover 2 Fridays ago in this amphitheater. You bring a lot of experience from the Department of Petroleum Resources, where Engineer Kuplokun had hunted you. You have experience with the upstream, gas and power, and project management, very significant for the next level. Your new role is not new to you because as part of the Corporate Services Directorate, you've consistently been part of the policy and execution of that directorate. Most of the time, you have been the de facto COCS whenever it's not around. Your vast experience will enable you to continue to deliver with your team on the various human resources, IT, SAP, talent management, and all the various projects that we started. And of course, like the vision of the American Eagle, the new ones you will deem necessary in order for the corporation not only to survive, but to soar. Thank you so much. Please sit down. I'm not calling them any particular order. I think at this point I must call the money man. Umar Isa is here. The Chief Financial Officer Designate. Not many people know that he's an accountant by training. Most of them will think he has BA in Business Administration. He is an accountant, practice accounting, but had a foray in the Nigerian LNG as a commercial manager before I headhunted him into NNPC, somehow surreptitiously, because I know if I told Nigerian LNG that we want to employ him, they would have said no. So I started creeping into their system by saying, could you give him to me on secondment? I have some problems. That time I was the group general manager in charge of the LNG Investment Management Services. I brought him because at that time what I found was that our marketing aspect of the LNG business was not strong enough. And who could have done it apart from the commercial manager of Nigeria LNG? He did exactly what I expected. And when we were doing the transformation, we found him a perfect fit to lead our corporate planning and strategy His commercial sense also made him a perfect fit for the newly trifurcated PPMC. He turned the fortunes of the company from loss-making to profit-making within this short spell. I must say, his commitment made the trifurcation of the old products, pipelines and products marketing company a reality. Please sit down. There is a musketeer in the room, I think. Mr. Roland Honoriode. Helbary. The CEO upstream designate. He is an ex-employee of the Sulembeja Group, managing out of their SBUs, before we had entered him to lead an integrated data services limited company, ADSL. When we were fine-tuning the organization, having confidence that he understands our processes and systems, we entrusted him with the place I was selected to go, NAPIMS. We believed that his private sector discipline and commercial sense will make a lot of difference in NAPIMS, and it did. Not only did he straighten a lot of the processes and procedures, but he brought a vision of reducing contracting cycle from 36 months to 9 months. These were supported heavily, I believe, by his fundamental training of being a lawyer. And of course, the extreme exposures. So for the eagle to fly and fly high, the 6 months we want to target, or we've been targeting, I believe under your leadership as the CEO upstream, will be a reality. Thank you. Sit down. Looks like this team is full of engineers. May I kindly call on Engineer Ademi Adetunji? The selection is by Mr. President, so it's not me, please. So don't think that I tilted it to engineers. It's Mr. President that selected them based on what he has on their CV and obvious other advisors that have looked at them. Engineer Ademi Adetunji, the Chief Operating Officer Downstream Designate, was employed from the Essential Group, who are involved in our earlier transformation efforts course, under Project PACE, championed or initiated by Engineer Kukuloko. At that time, he was responsible for the recruitment of most of the senior executives of NNPC when the headhunt was on under Project PACE. Little did he know that he was also being headhunted. He came in as my GM transformation and had a stint as the senior technical assistant at GMD before we found him most suitable to lead our retail initiative and became the MD of NNPC Retail in the downstream autonomous business unit. His span of experience, especially in downstream with NNPC Retail, will ensure delivery of a downstream mission. I wish you well. You may sit, please. If you notice, increasingly, women are actualizing their Beijing pronouncement. I'd like to call on Engineer Ms. Lorraine Shandupu to kindly stand up issues around. You are the CEO Ventures designate. You have vast experience in the upstream sector. You are in immediate past MD of the NNPC Office Services. And you had actively actualized my vision for the NNPC Office Services to make material impact to the bottom line of the corporation. Your experience while you are under the Ventures Directorate, before we move NOFS into the Upstream Directorate, will definitely galvanize you in the incubation and take-off of the entities under the Ventures review, and of course create new ones as appropriate that will bring significant dividends to the corporation. Thank you very much. Engineer Yusuf Usman, kindly stand up together. A freshly minted fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, just 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, 26th of June. He was conferred with the Fellowship of Nigerian Society of Engineers. As the Chief Operating Officer, Gas and Power, you have a vast experience in the upstream and gas and power activities will surely make you a success. You had been the manager that sought to not only take off of the OB3 gas pipeline and involved in the structuring and putting in place the AKK contractual financing model. Also worked with the Minister of Petroleum Resources, as taken as the Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources. Of course, yeah, almost last assignment, when we do the handover. Your last assignment as the Group General Manager and also Senior Technical Assistant to me, the GMD, will definitely bring along your wider experiences and propel and deliver on the mandate of the Gas and Power APU, as well as continuity of my thoughts and reasoning that will be very vital to your team in the top management. You may please sit down. As I confessed, I was not following any order. I'll call on Engineer Mustafa Yunus Yakubu, who is also a freshly minted fellow of Nigerian Society of Engineers. They are all conferred with the fellowship of Nigerian Society of Engineers on 26th of June at a very colorful and well-deserved ceremony. Your life in NNPC started and continued in NETCO, the sole engineering consultant to the refineries in all their activities, but particularly the various refinery rejuvenation projects and terms. So growing to the position of the MD of NETCO, where you are more involved with the refineries rehabilitation program. This time, Engineer Kubu, your skills and knowledge on the state of the refineries will definitely come to bear as you deliver the mandate of not only rehabilitating the refineries, but also establishing new ones, including a condensate refinery rehabilitation, with the aim that Nigeria should exit importation by 2022. Instead of asking you to sit down, may I ask kindly that Malam Kieri and his new team please stand up again. Thank you very much. Kindly sit down. I can see that I've taken much more time that has been given to me. I'm sorry for that. And I'm also mindful that it's time for prayer. I am begging the Chief Imam that let's be within the tolerance level so that if it needs to combine prayer, but based on the folk, feel highly elated and fulfilled that I'm leaving behind a corporation that is stable, well aligned to meet its objective. My belief is, if you continue on the same trajectory, we shall surely reach our dream of building a company that meets the expectations of our founding fathers, here present and not present either. That is a world-class energy company, playing its part in the global energy business and meeting the expectations of its shareholders, the citizens of this great country, Nigeria. On this note, I would like to charge the new management team to particularly focus on some of these following areas. On staff development, emphasis should be on staff development, efficiency, and productivity. I will leave out the details for you to look at. On transparency, should be transparency of operations, and you should watch the main areas in terms of your publishing of your operations reports on time and ensuring that your books are properly audited on time. On the energy, I would say NNPC should continue to lead the way in the provision of energy security as a supplier of last resort for the petroleum products to Nigerians, power, and, of course, other energy mix for the country. There are detailed focus areas that you may look at in this note. On production, we should vigorously focus on the growth of oil and gas production and reserve through aggressive exploration campaign in the transitional basins and frontier basins, opening up of deep offshore through negotiation of fiscal terms, as well as closing out any disputes. There are several areas that you could look at in this area. I will leave it for you to look at in my notes if you so wish. It is important that the mission statement of this corporation is tinkered with to reflect the vision of transforming the corporation into an energy company in line with the current trend in the industry and forays into renewables and power. Ladies and gentlemen, just like the story I narrated to you earlier, it is now time for me to relax. Leave the scene for younger, more energetic staff. With strong adrenaline to take over the affairs of running the corporation for better glory ahead. There are no words, though, that can express how sincerely grateful I am for the privilege of working with all of you, my great NNPC staff. The NNPC workplace has been my family and home for close to 3 decades of my adult life. Virtually half of the entire life I'm privileged to live on earth. That I've got to spend this time working with people so spectacularly talented, passionately committed, and unstoppably optimistic. It's a blessing I hope we shared and will continue to share. I hope the same support you gave me and my management team while in service will be extended to the new management team. The task ahead is enormous, but I have no doubt that the new management team will deliver the next level agenda of moving the corporation even to greater heights. The adage is, every good parent wants to see his children to be better than him. I cannot be different. Set aggressive targets and you must achieve them. That is the joy I'll have. Your success in turning around the fortunes of NNPC is success for all of us. The in-house unions, the Pengerson, I cannot thank you enough. I would always be proud of your support, especially the mutually beneficent engagements we had across the dialogue tables. Without doubt, the spirit of camaraderie shall never end within the four corners of the NNPC towers. It shall be etched in my memory forever. Most profoundly, I thank His Excellency, Mr. President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for giving us the opportunity to serve this great country, Nigeria. You trusted our judgment and supported us with the resources and policy directions that have manifested into quantum accomplishments that have characterized our tenure of 1,099 days. Thank you, Your Excellency. I cannot thank you enough. Once again, I thank you all for being here for me and my management team all through our service years. Today is indeed a perfect time for me to say goodbye and take my leave as we watch and count, the successes the corporation will be recording in years to come. I also want to use this medium to thank all our invited guests, as stakeholders. Definitely time will not permit me to do justice to each and every one of you, especially my aged GMDs. You don't know what you've done to me today. I really can't explain. A very short notice. Thank you so much. The gentlemen of the press, we are silently there, but we hear very loud and clear. Thank you for constructive criticisms and for checking facts from us as much as possible before we go to the press. I really wish you all the best, my great staff of NNPC. Long live NNPC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye-bye for now.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please keep clapping. Let's keep putting our hands together for our GMD for that wonderful delivery. That was powerful, spectacular, quintessential, emotional, and great. And let me also please advise us or request us to do a little bit of a stretch. A stretch of about 1 or 2 minutes will help so that we can get our blood flowing very well in our veins. Just a stretch of 1 or 2 minutes. Please, you can turn to the next person on your right or on your left. Give him or her a handshake. No more Ebola in Africa. Please keep clapping, keep clapping. Keep clapping, please keep clapping. Clap, clap, clap.
And there we have it, the valediction there by the group managing director, the outgoing group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mr. Mekanti Baru. A long, emotional speech, lots of nostalgia, and of course talking about a lot of the things that have been accomplished by his administration, taking the time to call out every single person that he's worked with in the time that he's been here. He's been group managing director for 3 years, talking about all the contributions they've made in one area or the other. A bit of worry somewhere on social media when we were wondering about how it was all men he was calling, until he called the great woman and started talking about her contributions during his time as group managing director. He says he led the organization on the path to recovery and sustainable growth, talking about the 200 billion pension gap, one of the things that was achieved in his time as group managing director. And then, of course, his words to the incoming group managing director, and he was talking to him about having a successor. In his words, he said success is about growing others, told him to search diligently for successors and start mentoring and coaching them. There's no legacy is existent without the right successor. And of course, took the time to thank President Muhammadu Buhari for his support. Talked a bit about the corporation, said stable and on the right trajectory. Those are some of the words there by the outgoing group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mr. Mekanti Baru, at the valedictory session for him. Dr. Mekanti Kachala Baru, who has been group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation for 3 years. A very interesting set of people he's worked with, and of course, always talking about how he had to headhunt a lot of the people that he worked with, and how they were able to fix a lot of the rot he said was in the system and move it onto the path of growth and recovery. A very emotional speech there by the outgoing group managing director. And of course, coming into his shoes right now will be Mr. Mele Kolokieri, assuming office as a new group managing director of the NNPC. And of course, the NNPC is one of those organizations that have been bedeviled with a lot of problems: pipeline vandalism, oil spills, crude oil theft, pollution, kidnappings, fuel pricing, which is still an issue in Nigeria, inadequate pipeline infrastructure, fire outbreaks, and a lot more problems that are still out there in the NNPC. And of course, these are shoes that will need to be filled in time, and Nigerians are watching diligently, making sure that the right decisions are made as we move forward in the NNPC. Of course, Mr. Mele, who's coming, Mr. Mele Kiari, who is coming into the office of Group Managing Director, is one who has been a part of the NNPC for a very long time. In fact, at the time when he was called up by the outgoing Group Managing Director, we could see chants from people in labor and whatnot. So, which means that this is a man who has been a part of the system, has grown in it, and is loved by a lot of people in the organization. So, we're looking forward to his tenure and what he's going to be bringing to the table. Mr. Mele Kiari is from Borno State. He's a geologist known in the oil industry as a crude oil marketer with outfield pedigree in petroleum economics and crude oil and gas trading. According to the NNPC, he has over 32 years of experience in the oil and gas industry. His tour of duty traversed the entire value chain of the petroleum industry, and of course that is some of the things that have been spoken of this particular morning at this event. He will be the 19th Group Managing Director of the National Oil Company. According to a statement issued by the NNPC's Group General Manager, Mr. Ndu Ugamadu, he was in that statement talking about how he's going to be bringing all of his experience to bear when he comes into office. Remember that Mr. Kiari, Mr. Mele Kiari, is Nigeria's national representative to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. He was also in charge of the crude oil marketing division of the NNPC before his latest appointment. He holds a 1987 Bachelor of Science in Geology and Earth Science from the University of Maiduguri, and was born on the 8th of January 1965 in Maiduguri, Borno State. He's a geologist and, of course, has been a part of the NNPC for a very long time. And all that experience is what we're hoping will be brought to the fore as he assumes his position as Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, a very important part of Nigeria's history, a very important part of Nigeria's development in this particular point in time. Now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation regulates and participates in the country's petroleum industry. The business operations are managed through strategic business and corporate service units. Those are the SBUs and the CSUs in many locations across the country. The NNPC has been a very important part of Nigeria's growth and development since it was established on the 1st of April in 1977. Of course, Mr. Kiari, appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari as the new Group Managing Director of the NNPC, replacing Mr. Mekanti Baru, who just gave his valediction. The new GMD and the other appointed NNPC officials will be working together with current officers in the same position until the 7th of July in 2019, and that is what has happened. So we're moving on to the next phase of the leadership of the NNPC. Now, Mr. Mekanti Baru was appointed Group Managing Director on July the 4th under the presidency of President Muhammadu Buhari as well. And as we know, he succeeded Dr. Emmanuel Ibe Kachiku, who is the current Minister of State for Petroleum. And we're looking to see how things unfold in the days to come. A very important time in the history of the NNPC. We'll be going back to the hall very soon to hear more goodwill messages from a lot of the people who will be congratulating Mr. Mekanti Baru for a successful tenure, and of course welcoming to the stage the new Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Mr. Mele Kiari.